Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Podcast English Channel, where learning English is easy and fun. I'm Alex.
Yes, I'm Emily. Hi, Alex. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Emily. I'm feeling very relaxed. You know why? I just got back from a short vacation.
Ooh, I'm so jealous. That's fantastic. And it's the perfect topic for our conversation today.
Exactly. Today, we're going to have a long conversation about a very fun topic, talking about your vacation. The conversation is designed to be natural and helpful for English learners, covering vocabulary and grammar for before, during, and after a trip. Describing a trip is one of the most common conversations you can have in English.
It's true. When a friend or coworker is away, the first thing you say when they come back is, "How was your trip?" So today, we'll teach you all the vocabulary and phrases you need. We'll talk about planning a vacation, what to say after you get back, and we'll even share stories about our own recent trips.
It's going to be a fun and useful episode. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Before you go on vacation, you have to plan it. And your friends might ask you about your plans. To talk about the future, we often use the phrase going to.
Right. For example, I'm going to go to the beach, or we're going to visit our family. So, Alex, imagine you have a vacation planned for next month. Let me ask you some questions. Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go to Singapore.
Oh, lovely. How long are you going to stay?
I'm going to stay for 2 weeks.
And who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with my best friend.
See how easy that is? We use going to for our plans. Now, let's talk about different types of vacations. My trip to Singapore would be a beach vacation. The goal is to swim and relax on the beach.
What if you go to a big city like Paris or Tokyo for a few days?
That's called a city break. You do a lot of sightseeing. That means visiting famous places like museums and monuments.
And what if you like hiking in the mountains or doing exciting things?
That's an adventure vacation. You might go skiing, kayaking, or trekking. And sometimes people just want to stay home and relax. That's called a staycation. Stay plus vacation.
That's a useful word. We also need to talk about accommodation, the place where you sleep.
Right. You can stay in a hotel, or you might rent a house or an apartment through a service like Airbnb. If you're traveling on a budget, you might stay in a hostel where you share a room with other travelers.
So a listener could say, for my next city break, I'm going to book a hotel downtown so I can go sightseeing easily.
That's a perfect sentence. It uses all the key vocabulary. So to recap, when talking about future plans, use going to and try to use specific words for the type of trip and accommodation.
Okay, so now we make conversation by asking and answering about back from vacation. This is the most common vacation conversation when someone has just returned from their trip. The most important thing to remember here is that we use the past simple tense because the vacation is finished.
That's right. So, Alex, you said you just got back from a trip. Let me be the friend asking you about it. The first and most common question is, how was your vacation?
And I can answer it with a simple adjective. For example, it was amazing, or it was so relaxing.
Perfect. What are some other good adjectives to describe a vacation?
If you had a great time, you could say it was wonderful, fantastic, or unforgettable. If you saw a lot of beautiful things, you could say it was beautiful or stunning.
What if it wasn't great?
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, but you could say it was a bit disappointing. Or if it was very stressful, it was quite hectic.
Okay, so after I ask, how was it? My next question would be, where did you go?
I went to the coast. I stayed in a small town by the sea. Notice the past tense. Go becomes went, stay becomes stayed.
Now for the most important question. What did you do? This is where you tell your story.
All right, let me tell you about my trip. It was a very simple beach vacation. I wanted something relaxing. I drove to a small town about 3 hours away. I stayed in a little guest house with a view of the ocean.
That sounds wonderful. What did you do during the day?
Honestly, not much. That's what made it so great. Every morning, I woke up late. I had a slow breakfast at a local cafe. Then I walked down to the beach. I spent most of the day just reading my book and swimming in the ocean. The weather was perfect.
That sounds so relaxing. Did you do any sightseeing?
Not really. One afternoon, I rented a bicycle and explored the coastline a little bit. The views were absolutely stunning. In the evenings, I ate dinner at small seafood restaurants. The fish was so fresh and delicious.
What was the highlight of your trip? The best part?
The highlight was just sitting on the balcony in the evening, listening to the sound of the waves. It was so peaceful. I came back feeling completely refreshed. It was an unforgettable trip.
That sounds like the perfect vacation. A great story. Did everyone notice how Alex used the past simple verbs? Went, stayed, woke up, had, walked, ate. This is the key to telling a good story about a past event.
Okay, so I told you about my relaxing beach trip. Now, Emily, I remember you took a trip a few months ago. It was a bit different from mine, right?
Yes, it was completely different. You had a relaxing vacation. I had an adventurous city break.
So tell me, where did you go?
My sister and I went to Mexico City for 5 days.
Wow, I've always wanted to go there. How was it?
It was amazing, but it was also very hectic. We were busy every single minute.
So what did you do?
Well, we flew in on a Tuesday morning. We checked into our Airbnb, which was in a really cool neighborhood called Roma Norte. On the first day, we just walked around, got our bearings, and ate street tacos. They were the best tacos I've ever had.
I love that. What about the next few days? What sights did you see?
We did so much sightseeing. We visited the Frida Kahlo Museum, which was incredible. We explored the historic center of the city and saw the huge cathedral and the National Palace. We also took a day trip to see the ancient pyramids at Teotihuacan. That was the highlight of the trip for me. Climbing the Pyramid of the Sun was difficult, but the view from the top was breathtaking.
That sounds incredible. Was the food good?
The food was fantastic. We tried so many different things. We ate at raining restaurants and we ate at tiny street stalls. We drank delicious coffee in the mornings. I think I took about 100 pictures of just the food.
It sounds like you had a very full, very exciting vacation.
We did. It wasn't relaxing at all. We walked for miles every day. By the end of the trip, we were exhausted. But it was a wonderful and unforgettable experience.
Emily, your story is a great example of a different kind of vacation. My trip was about relaxing and doing nothing, and yours was about exploring and seeing everything.
Exactly. And both are great types of vacations. The important thing for our listeners is to have the right language to describe their own experiences. Let's do a quick recap.
Good idea. First, when talking about future trips, use going to. For example, I'm going to go on a city break.
Second, when you come back, your friends will ask, how was your vacation? Be ready with some good adjectives like relaxing, amazing, fantastic, beautiful, or hectic.
Third, the most important question is what did you do? To answer this, you must use the past simple. This is your chance to tell your story. Remember to practice your irregular verbs. Go becomes went, see becomes saw, eat becomes ate, have becomes had.
And finally, a great phrase to use is the highlight of the trip was. This is when you talk about the best or most memorable part of your vacation.
This gives our listeners a complete toolkit for talking about their vacations. Now we have a challenge for you.
That's right. The next time you talk to a friend who speaks English, ask them about their last vacation. Use the questions you learned today. How was it? Where did you go? What did you do? What was the highlight?
And then listen to their story. It's great practice. That's all the time we have for today. We hope this conversation helps you talk about your travels with more confidence.
Thank you for listening. Join us next time on Podcast English Channel.
Until then, happy travels. Bye, everyone.